I'm James. I'm in the NetNewsLedger news studio. I'm here with Rod Bosch and Jason Susin. These are citizens for a Downtown Multiplex. Gentlemen, thank you for coming in.
Thanks for the invite, James. It's a pleasure to be here.
And Rod, you've been working toward a multiplex convention center in the Downtown North Ward. What do our readers and viewers need to know?
Well, I think the readers and the viewers need to know the actual facts. And there's been multitude times when those facts have been put out there, both in the written and the verbal method, and people either are not accepting those facts or they prefer to come at it from a negative point of view, and I think that's wrong, James.
So Jason, what are the facts?
For me, I like to remind people that the Fort William Gardens does need replacement. The other facts are that we'll get Rod to discuss that a little bit later, but when we're talking about the city's tax debt and other issues that have been put out forth to the public, those numbers are a lot of those numbers are wrong. We've done a lot of research, and the numbers that we've come up with are different than that of Ray Smith's. I also like to remind people that when we do replace the Fort William Gardens, that we are building a more modern facility that is accessible to a lot of taxpayers that have disabilities. So we'll have a more accessible building in the future.
And that's an important piece. I mean, and some of the information that's out there. I mean, in the last 4 years, Thunder Bay's credit rating has been raised. Mm-hmm. And we've got more money in the savings account, and we've lowered the debt. So
exactly.
There's a lot of gloom and doom out there. Ray, why do you think we got gloom and doom in a city where we've got some good things happening?
I think there's some major catastrophes that have happened in the last couple of years that have sort of opened the door for people to come up with that sort of attitude. The water problems we had from the flooding and water damage a while back sort of started things, and people have the belief that there's only a limit to how far we can go with this stuff. But in reality, in the last 4 years, we've increased the amount of money that's available to the city. The city's retired $31 million in debt. The city, despite what Ray Smith says, has a debt load of $84 million, not $184 million as he professes. Our reserve funds right now sit at a higher level than the amount of debt that we have. That's sort of unprecedented, and that's the result of the hard work of what our city council has done and their advice through administration.
Yeah, and that's since 2007, so that shows that we are doing a better job.
Now, in terms of the event center downtown, gentlemen, I'll give you a couple of minutes. Explain to our viewers here, why do we need the event center, and why downtown on the north side of the city near the waterfront district?
Can I answer that?
You can.
The location is very important. You've heard it before, location. On the waterfront, it just makes the convention center component more marketable. And we've discussed this before. I've actually said this before in public that it's going to be a more marketable building. It's going to have one of the best sightlines in Canada. So we're going to be in the realm with Halifax and Vancouver when it comes to doing these conventions. We're going to be able to grab a lot of these new shows, conventions that you see nationally, and some of them are actually going to be international. And with the Sleeping Giant out there, you have Canada's seventh wonder. That was the People's Choice. So you have that in our sightline. Lake Superior, that's the greatest of the Great Lakes. So you have that. Everything is more marketable down there at that location. It's going to help us bring more shows into the community. So it's outside dollars. We're not going to cannibalize our own economy with this location.
If I could, Jason, as well. The interesting thing is the government was very clear that if any sort of economic improvement was to occur through event centers or anything of this nature, it is strongly suggested by the government that it be done in a downtown core that revitalizes the downtown and brings it back to life. That is one of the reasons why it is in the downtown. The site is properly sized. All of the needs that have to be looked at are done so. The money to do these things has been accounted for. The plans are all there, and they have been there for the last 4 years. And through the phases 1, 2, and 3. Phase 3 is the final report that it goes forward to allow us to seek funding now. And every one of those things, people's concerns have been answered. Some people have said that disability hasn't been looked after. Then if you say that, then you haven't taken the time to view what the report is. The report, all the reports as a matter of fact, are fully accessible on the city's website. Take the time to read the report. Read the facts, not conjecture, not misbeliefs, not falsehoods, not half-truths. Just read the facts, and the facts tell you that we can and should build this center at this time.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what, when you consider that the new facility, the lounge, the suites, you know, it's only fair that everybody can access these parts of the building, and that's what we're going to have with this new modern facility.
Now, in terms of the facility, one of the concerns that people have raised, of course, is parking, and I've often thought that Thunder Bay could put a hockey rink at the bottom of Wilmette Canyon and carve the sides out so people could stay in their cars and watch the game. People don't like to walk very far here. What's your views on the issue of parking and going to a concert or to a major event at the new convention and event center?
Well, if I could, I've been to concerts, been to hockey games at the NHL in several cities, and not one of those has parking right at the door. Always been accustomed to walk a certain distance, and the distances we're talking are pretty easy. Fort William Gardens today, I have season tickets to the Thunderwolves games. I don't miss a one. We have no problem walking from our car to the gardens to view sites, and I think it's just a fallacy that's been put forward by people as as a way to try to stop this thing.
Yeah.
The city has plans right now to buy up some of the land that's close to the event center. The people that say, well, there's no handicap parking. Yes, there is. It's in the plan, and it's in a very short distance.
Yes.
And none of the other facilities that I've been to have anything over and above anything we've got planned for. I mean, right next door to the event center, there's parking for a handicap. Across the roadway, there's parking for a handicap, all in very close proximity. And where does it say you can't be dropped off at the door and somebody goes and parks someplace else? There's accessibility spots there. Once you get in the event center, there's full accessibility. There's elevators to move people from, and multiple elevators, not just one elevator. So I cannot see what the negativity is all about.
Thunder Bay does have a reputation sometimes for, if you haven't opposed it yet, you're not on the right side, and maybe that's part of what goes on here. But I think the key here is, of course, for people getting the information out and making sure that they've got the facts. And like you say, the reports are all on the city website. Yes, they take some time to read through, but for a major expenditure like this for the city, there's been a lot of public meetings and a lot of opportunity for people to get information out there.
Mm-hmm.
Jason, you've been heavily involved in promoting this. As we head into the last days, this has become kind of the referendum on the event center,
right?
Civic Election campaign. How do you see it going?
I've been getting a lot of positive feedback. Sorry, I've been getting a lot of positive feedback. I think it's going in the right direction. I could see this project happening. We just got to try and keep the facts, the true facts out there, and that's what we're going to be doing this week. We're going to be getting out there. We're going to be sharing the true facts with citizens, and people are. This is going to be something the city's going to be really proud of. I mean, we've only been pushing the process, That's another thing. We're not pushing to make this thing happen. If there's no federal money, if there's no provincial money, if the private partners don't step up, this may not happen. But we're pushing for the process, and that's where we want to see this continue the process.
Okay, Rod, we'll let the last word go to you.
Well, just a few things, James. We try to be respectful to other people and their opinions, and only present what we consider to be the facts. But after reading an ad that's been placed in the paper 3 times now over the last week, it was just a natural that we had to make some response. One of the things that I get tired of is Ray Smith's group wanting to speak on behalf of all the citizens, calling themselves the citizen or the Thunder Bay's taxpayers. Well, there's more than just taxpayers in the city, and everybody has an opinion and has a chance to vote and express. He certainly doesn't speak for me, and I'm a concerned citizen as well. But I'm concerned that we're going to stand still and not move forward. He speaks of it from the point of view is the arena. This is more than an arena. It is a true event center. Everything that's going to be in it is going to be advanced lighting, advanced sound system, advanced acoustics. A hockey arena is just that. You play hockey in it. This thing here, it being built, is going to be fully capable of being transformed to look after doing concerts, look after doing trade shows, look after doing boat shows, and numerous other things. And backstage equipment that can be stored indoors and not have to pull up on the boulevards and Sill Street and things like this and get special dispensation to park their large vehicles because there's no accommodation for it. It's a great step forward. Mr. Smith and his group in their little ad had 7 points, and every one of the points can be contested with facts, and the facts are considerably different than the way that he stands up and puts them out there. He says our taxes are very high. Well, they may be a little high, but I as a taxpayer am not worried about paying a little additional in the tax to have this center here. And the operating budget says it could be up to $1.2 million, but they don't seem to want to put forward the real true story is the $1.2 million was given as a worst case scenario, and there may be enough of things that are going to occur that will offset that $1.2 million and make it much lower. By the way, $1.2 million equates to $18.13 per $100,000 of your tax assessment for a house. In other words, if you have a $200,000 house, it's going to cost you $36.26 more a year to have the event center. That's a worst case scenario. That's not normal. And for them to conjecture up there that it's going to be $3 million or $4 million is just fear-mongering in the worst way. And I don't want to be here as a fear-monger. I want to be here as a person that supports the future of our city. I want to be here as a person that provides a place for my children and my grandchildren to be able to go to and enjoy themselves and be proud to say, this is in Thunder Bay. That's basically why we're here. We're here to support the facts, not fallacies.
You really came prepared, eh? I just want to finish too with the fact that the convention center business in Canada, that's a silent industry that generates over $4 billion a year, and we could be grabbing some of that for our own economy here in Thunder Bay. It'll help grow our GDP. We don't want to compete with the local businesses. We go grab the bigger conventions. That's going to require more hotels. That's going to require more investment, more private investment in our city. So there's a lot of pluses with this that we need to really consider, and we could see it happening. We could see it really happening, like our waterfront.
Jason, Rod, thank you very much for coming in. I'm James Murray. We're in the NetNewsLedger newsroom.
Thank you, James.